Welcome. Thank you all for coming. With the salaries and payments and travel and reimbursement workshop. This does apply to every traveler, so if you're coming to represent your program, bring this information back to your other people.
And if I just may say, before we start, we are recording this session, so just FYI, we might repeat your questions, or in case you don't want to say anything, we don't want to record it. But we will have this available for everyone else to reference, hopefully, if everything works.
All right. So here's we'll go right off with introduction. So
I'm Kevin Malone, and I'm one of the international coordinators in the study of our office.
I'm Francie McGregor. I'm at New College.
He's overseeing the College of the Arts and Sciences, the trip to the
I'm Andy Mediger, and I'm international coordinator for the graphic. I'm Julie Leach from
The study of our office.
I'm Becca Nash. I'm the manager for the Paycheck. So I'll be talking about okay, so we'll start about salary. They're determined based on your program budget, and that was pre-approved by your college. So happy with whatever salary you're getting, but if you're not, sorry, it's already pre-determined. So there's that. And there are There are two important dates in terms of salary. March 8th is, well, yeah, it's a Sunday, so we'll be looking at it on March 9th. But that's when we decide if the program has reached the at least 60, 70 minimum rule that we have, and if you can go on, if the program's going or not. It's important for salaries because whatever, if you, as you know, you have a min, max, mid, and max budget scenarios this year. So if on the 8th you have enough students to put you into the mid budget, but then a student withdraws before the 23rd when salaries are set, you're still going to get, your salary will not decrease from whatever you're in on the 8th. If you get more students and you move up to your max budget, your salary can increase, but it just won't decrease. So you're at least, you have an idea of how much you're making in the program as of March 8th. And then March 23rd is the confirmation deadline, and that is when we decide which of the 3 budget scenarios we're actually going with, and that's when we'll full enrollment, and we'll go with it, and that start making the salary offer letters and start doing everything from there. Hit the ground. So that is super big date this year. Okay, so there is before March 23rd, which is not that far away. There is a questionnaire in your Studio Abroad account, in your RM account, called FD Faculty Staff Salary and Travel Information. It only has a few questions, but they're really important questions. How many pay periods you'd like? Depending on how much you get paid, it may or may not matter. But if you really do want it spread across 3 over the whole course of the program, we can do that. If you'd rather it just be some, we can do that. But you have to tell us. And if you don't, we will will most likely give you one, and it will be the last pay period of your program. So that's what we're going to do. And if you are getting paid for any research or departmental payments during your trip, you need to know that, especially if you're getting paid off a sponsored account, because technically our jobs that you're doing are full-time jobs. So if during pay period 3, when you're actually on your program, you're going to get some sponsored money, tell me that, and I will not pay you on pay period 3. I'll pay you on a different pay period so that it does not affect your sponsored account. It can really mess up your grant. So don't do that. That's a really important question. So, and then, are you enrolled in direct deposit? I'm sure most people are, but if you're not, your paycheck will go to your department and it will be sitting there. You will have absolutely no access to it until you get back. It's not a good plan. And it's also a problem with travel, because your salary, your travel advance will also be given in a check. And you'll again not have access to it. So kind of the direct deposit.
You said that you can choose the number of pay periods. Can you also choose the first pay period? A lump sum?
Yeah. And if you choose one pay period, and I can make it the first pay period of your program. So, the summer has 6 pay periods, so we'll put it on, you'll get paid over your program. But yeah, we can do that. And please complete this before March 23rd, because like I said, that's when we find out what salary you're getting paid. That's when we just go for it and we pull all the numbers and we hit the ground. And since we don't have that much window this year between March 23rd and when the program is going to start, we're going to the question has, I think, 7 questions. The question has 7 questions maybe, and there are some that are salary and there are some that are travel. So yeah, right. So yeah, it's still and yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Where does one find this questionnaire?
In your RM app. It's in the online form submissions. There you go. It's, in your application, and we can help you find it if you need to. Okay, so like I said, offer letters will be drafted and sent out is the first week of April, and those will be sent to you by email, and you can sign it and scan it and send it back to me. You don't have to come in. You can do it at your leisure, but just send it back to me as quickly as possible so we can get it. If you don't send it back, then I can't pay you soon. And it looks something like this. It's still this is the 2014 version, but it'll but all you have to do is sign it and scan it and send it back. Okay, so when you look at your offer letter, please review for salary, pay frequency. If you know that you cannot get paid on a certain pay period, whatever, make sure that the offer letter does not have you getting paid on that day. And the amount, so just review all the important information. And then this year,
Yeah, so following your friend's question, so you can get the full amount during the first pay period if you don't have
your
other
program.
obligations.
Yeah. I mean, depending, if there are some rules in terms of how much one person can get paid in one payment, but generally, yes. Yes. And I do want to point out, this year we've created a generic email, fpbusiness@amc.edu. That way you can send your salary information, your travel information, you send any questions, comments that you have. It's going to be checked multiple times a day by multiple people. So I'm out of the office for whatever reason, your question won't linger. If other people are out of the office, you won't feel anything for lost because we'll get you the answer. So
FD business is just study wrong.
it's going to be checked by me, the business student workers, and they'll make sure to get the right people and a couple other people within the business unit. So it's just people dealing with the FD business information. But it is, what is it? Faculty directed. Okay. Okay, so travel claims are considered reimbursement. So this is important because advances are good faith loans that you give to the traveler. And they have to be offset by the receipts that you bring back or the travel office with it. They'll garnish your wages and those other things. So if this is why they have to be filed in a timely manner, and this is why we will nag you if you don't get your receipts on the time. They can garnish your wages if you don't bring back the initial claims to pick it up. They will notify your chair, dean, and the provost that you're doing this, and it will affect any future travel. And they can refuse to give you any advances in the future. Everybody has to file a travel claim. So even if there are a few programs that have people traveling, but they're not receiving any reimbursement. They're not, they don't have any per diem, they don't have any claims that they're going to submit. You still have to file a travel claim so that you're in travel status, so that you're covered for risk management purposes, and then when you come back, you sign it, you're done, whatever, but it's just for official. You have to be in travel status. Okay, so there's two types. Yes.
How do you file a travel claim? Where do you go?
We will do all of the paperwork. All you have to do is sign your claim, and we'll do it.
Will you fill out the claim or we do?
We will fill out chunks of it, and you'll send us your receipt, and we'll fill out the claim, and then we'll give it to you, and you'll sign it.
That's pretty much amazing.
We'll do most of it, most of the heavy lifting for you.
But do we follow the same process that we do when we're traveling for other reasons? So we initiate the claim and submit it to you?
No. We will initiate the claim. We will do all of that for you, and it's based on the approved budget. So if you are the faculty director, you have sat down with your international coordinator and gone through the budget and said, this goes on so-and-so's travel claim. That is what we're going to use, that information, to build the travel claims, and we'll fill everything out. Then we'll tell you your claim is ready for signature, and all you have to do is sign it, and then and I mean review it in case something's wrong. But
so when we go like to a conference or so, they only pay us a certain percentage, and they give us an advance of a certain percentage. Is that true with this as well? So
yes.
Even though the ticket is going to be substantial, you don't get the rest of it. Or the ticket, I guess, is paid at 100% advance at 100%.
Correct. Yeah.
But the per diem and the lodging, what level?
We will do. Okay. Thank you for that. Right. There's two types of travel claims. There's individual travel claims and there's group travel claims. If there's one person allowed per program to carry the money for that program. So if you have group expenses, one person will have a group claim. It's possible that you'll have a program where you have a just really great provider and they're doing all the work for you, so everybody has an individual travel claim. That's possible as well. But most people will have an individual travel claim. On that claim will be your per diem, any local transportation, and other miscellaneous travel expenses. You will get reimbursed or advanced at 75% of whatever we budget. You get the other 25% when you bring your receipts in. And the group travelers get 75% of the individual portion of their travel expenses. So their per diem, their local transportation and the same, but they will get 100% of whatever group expenses we have budgeted. So, you know, if you're carrying the funds for the whole group, you will have enough funds for the whole group. So that's different type of things. There we go. So, like I said, it's based on your budget. And we will go through the budget. If things change, that's why we are working diligently with your international coordinator to make sure all the numbers are correct so that we can give everybody the correct amount. Okay, so it says all faculty and staff have to come to a data design. That's slightly true and slightly false. The truth is that everybody has to sign their travel plan. Last year, we offered to go to people. We would meet, you know, people on their campus. We'd go to downtown and go to Poly so that you don't have to come to our office. We realize that that can be an inconvenience. So this year, we're going to offer, which you can work with your national coordinator to kind of set the dates for, is within our office every week, someone from our office is on each of the campuses. So we will arrange with you if you want that, then we will give whoever is going to your particular campus your claim, and they bring it with them. You can meet them while they're there. You can sign it. They'll give you the information that we give you, and they'll just bring back the claim. So that way you don't actually have to come to us, but most travelers will come to our office, but it's fine either way. Yeah.
Or could we do it by email?
No, it has to be signature. You have to sign it, actually physically sign the travel. And when you sign it, we give an envelope for you to hold your receipts. And on this envelope, it has a detailed listing of how we arrived at the amount based on the budget that your travel claim is approved at. It also has the ASU and FAO travel policies and guidelines, so you know what not to do. I'm sure you know that. And it also has information about how to send in and reconcile your travel claim. So here's the overall timeline. Hopefully we'll be doing it for this, but at the minimum 8 to 25 days prior to your program, the pre-trip claim is processed by our office when you're signing it, and we send it to travel once you sign it. About 1 to 7 days prior to the program start date, travel will directly deposit the amount of your advance into your account, and then you go to your program, and then when you come back, you have 7 days to get us your receipts to SAO. And hopefully reconcile them beautifully, and that'll just set that coming up. And it won't take that long. And then we will process them in our office. We will send you an email that says it's ready for your signature, and here's how much you'll be getting, or hopefully not, but you know how much you owe ASU if your advance was more than you actually had. And you know, check that sort of thing. So you can come in and sign. And again, we'll try to go to you if we can, but the signing, I'm not sure if we'll actually be on one of our campuses as frequently as and that, so yeah, so that's our timeline. In terms of your flight, we will not pay for or book your airfare until your program is confirmed, which is you have reached the minimum enrollment of your minimum budget. So that's what we're going on. And then once you have, and your coordinator sends you an email saying, yeah, you've reached it, then you can come in and coordinate buying your airfare. If we would really, really like you to let us buy the airfare on our P card, it reduces the amount in travel advance, which is really important. And it just does a whole thing. But if for whatever reason you feel like you have to buy it yourself, you can do that, but you will not get reimbursed. You will not get reimbursed until you process your travel claim and you get your pay. Your reimbursement will be in that advance. you choose to buy it now, you can sit on your credit card until May or whenever you put it. So just be aware of that. No, everything, study abroad goes to the study abroad.
You're gonna hang out with me, we'll do
Yeah.
it together.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
That is totally key. I know that some departments have designated person who processes travel, or they have a bunch of people who process travel. All travel, all salary for study abroad programs goes through the study abroad office. If multiple people show up to me. Okay. So, study abroad office cannot, just because that's what we budgeted, the amount we have, pay more for everything than they budgeted. Any overages have to be covered by the traveler, either in a check or deducted from your travel claim. This can be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. If your program has, like, we have a little savings somewhere, then maybe, and it's only over by like $10, $15, $20, whatever, we might be able to take it. But in general, the policy is if you choose to buy a ticket, especially if you're sitting there with your coordinator, and they see your ticket is within budget, and you choose a different ticket, any overages you have to pay. And preferably you pay them by a check. Or actually, the check is 2 days due. Okay. So when you're traveling, only the approved and budgeted expenses will get reimbursed. So that kind of goes without saying. But if you submit a receipt for something that you don't have budgeted, you're not guaranteed reimbursement. This does not mean that you will not be reimbursed if something happened and just raining and the Globe Theater got rained out, and so you had to not do that event, but you did some other event instead. Hopefully you contacted us, we're aware of that, and okay. But if you just decide you want to do this, you're not guaranteed reimbursement. So just be aware of that. Like I said, when you sign your travel claim, you will get an itemized list of what we do have budgeted and how much we have budgeted for that item. So you know what you can do. Need to be said, but we'll finish this one. Alcohol is not allowed, cannot be reimbursed. Payments to ASU employees, you can process those. I do that. And yes, some programs have budgeted goodwill items, and those are different, but gifts in general.
What are goodwill items?
We call them cultural goodwill items. They're basically gifts.
Yeah, but it's you're going to somewhere where it's expected that you will give this something, or the person is not getting paid but doing an entire lecture for your group. So, but those are budgeted and we're aware of them.
So our group last year, every time we went to this really different program or a lecture, we gave a little thing from that. A little trinket, like we had keychains and things that had ASU programs up on it, and then the small thing from the city of Colorado, so from the schools to represent where we were coming from.
And one time I did, Arizona had this possible before.
Yeah, I think for the most part, a lot of the gifts come from the bookstore, or they in some way represent either ASU or Arizona.
For purposes of, I think, the business paperwork side, it's best if we can know about this event so we can put it in the budget and call it this very explicit line items, not how to question.
Tips. Tips are, you can give them. The ASU has limits to the percentage. If you are at a meal giving a tip, you cannot tip over 20%. And if you are giving tips to like the people who are helping you at, you guys stay the whole month at this hotel, and so at the end you help people or something like that, you can do that, but you just might need to come back with some sort of justification for that, or if you can, a receipt for it, which I realize I'm silly because you're doing it, but I will give everybody, or we will have available to you, receipt books that are blank, and you can fill them out. If you can get someone to sign off, countersign that, yes, I did, I'm a real person, that's ideal, but sometimes it's not possible, but at least you have the paperwork thing. And it's also helpful because if you're tipping, travel would prefer you to come back with 5 little notes or a list of, on this day I gave $3 to this person, and on this day I gave $2 to this person, rather than saying I did $20 a tip. They would rather see it so that they know where the money is. Because we have had people say $100, which for a month is not that much, but $100 is a lot if it's one kind of tip. So it's better to break it out.
So if you use public transportation while you're there, like the bus, they don't necessarily do receipts.
You can use their receipt book, or you can if you want, keep a tally of it on your and turn that kind of in as your receipt. But
Because if you have like 50 students boarding the bus,
right.
You don't want 50 individual receipts.
No.
So,
if
but
you
you built
if
it
it's
into the
15,
budget.
you can right. If it's 15, you could just do one receipt for the whole amount that you paid, or you can just note it. But anything technically, I can get away with just a little note saying I paid this amount on this day. If it's an expense under $25, if you pay more than that, travel would like some form of receipt. And again, it can be a little receipt, but
I have, say, 100 local transportation taxi type things, there's no receipts. Do you want to document it, how many per day, and just have a one document?
Yeah.
So it might only be $2.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I mean, and you could just have a list of, this day I did this week, that's fine. But there just has to be some sort of record of it.
The ticket stuff will work.
Yes. Yeah, if you go on something that gives you anything, crazy little piece of paper, that's fine. As long as you get a tangible something that you can write on. Okay, so allowable expenses that are allowed only on group claims are photocopies, supplies, postage, and equipment. If you are an individual traveler and you need to purchase any of this for your program, it won't be able to go on your travel claim. I can still reimburse you if we have the money for it and it's budgeted, but it won't go on your travel claim. It will be in a employee reimbursement process. Okay, so for group travelers, if you are paying a service provider, we have this handy dandy form for you, and we will give it to you when we'll give you a couple copies of it if it's budgeted with your travel claim. But we also
What are some examples of service providers?
Yeah, okay, so some are lecturers that you just, it's anybody who you're paying for doing something. If you are paying someone to take everybody on a walking tour of something, and while they're doing it, they're going to talk, kind of lecture, but it's a tour. And that person, you're paying them in cash, they don't give you any kind of receipt, this can be your receipt. This is essentially a really big form for a receipt for someone proving that they're not an ASU employee. If they're not a U.S. citizen, you don't have to fill out the bottom part. But if they are, then fill it out. And this top part's the important part, but they need to sign it. And then you can countersign it, but they just need to sign it. And this, again, we'll give you a couple copies, but it is also uploaded into the resources section of your RM application. So if you're out and about traveling, you can still get it.
Have like a bus, kind of family bus company,
If they can't give you an invoice or some kind of receipt themselves, then yes.
Okay.
If they can, then you don't need that. You just need this if you don't have any other kind of. Okay. Some programs have give money to their students for a reason. Either it's you have so much budgeted for local transportation, but you're not actually buying the transportation every time. You're just giving them some cash so that they can buy the transportation when they need it. This is the form you use, and again, it's on in your RM app. Actually, you can use any kind of form. You can make up your own form if that's easier for you or at the time, but we have one for you, so you don't have to do that. Essentially, you have to put the person's name and have them sign it, and then at the top say what the purpose, why you're giving them this information or this money, and then how much you gave them and times 27 students and how much the total amount that you gave out is. This is essentially your receipt for giving the students the cash, and that's your documentation for it. We have programs to do it, like I said, transportation, meals, museum visits.
Stuff, and do you want it in the local currency paid, and then maybe
Yeah.
next office would be around this?
Yes, yes. I mean, if you know how much, like, or if you actually do pay someone in US dollars, you can, wherever you're going, that's better. That's fine. You can put that. But yeah, put the local currency, and then we will worry about it.
If you are giving money to students every day for lunch, do you fill out one of these every day?
Ideally, every time you give money, like if you're going to give them a flat amount for the week's lunches, then you can do just one. But if you're doing it on a daily basis, then yeah, it would be better to do that. Okay.
A recommendation on that?
No, I think it would kind of be how much you trust your students, because if you give it to them weekly, they might kind of blow it all before the week's end. And how well you think they can budget. But that's up to you.
Also, how much cash you want to carry around?
Yeah, it also, yeah.
Give it out until you're grown ups.
They don't need receipts.
No, if you use that form, you don't. If some people choose to have the students bring them the receipt and then they give them the exact reimbursement for that, and then they turn in that receipt, you can do that. It's a lot more paperwork for you, and it's a lot time consuming, but yeah, you can do that as well. Should you find that you have excess funds for whatever reason, the most likely reason you might have this year is exchange rate, that there's more favorable exchange rate than what we budgeted, and therefore it sent you with more money than you actually needed to do the tasks that you had planned. If you would like to, if you have extra money and you want to add another excursion, you want to add another group meal, you want to, whatever, you want to add, you can do that, but before you do that, you have to email your international coordinator for approval. When you do that, you say how and why you want to spend the money, how you have the extra money to begin with, and how it will enhance the program. That's a really important part, because just saying we thought this would be fun, not necessarily the best justification. We want something a little bit more elevated.
If I can just add, it's not because say, but obviously is like, we need to be able to prove your activities. It's actually, ASU travel just requires justifications for all purchases. So by you putting this in writing, it's helping us give them that audit trail that we're going to.
How would you just want an extra meal together?
How do you justify that? Have you seen any great justifications about adding an extra meals?
Group meals, build camaraderie among group meals, allow you to.
Maybe if it's a cultural meal, if you're taking them somewhere it's indicative of that culture, that could be an easy way to think that out.
Forum for a meeting to.
Yeah.
Want a group discussion about something that you saw that day or something. Everyone's together.
How might a faculty director know that they have extra funds? Especially with the exchange rate, they don't know exactly how much it costs.
Okay, so when we give you your advance, obviously advance dollars from that bank account, it's kind of up to you. If you go and take out the whole amount that we gave you and have them convert that, that would be really, then you might have a lot of money carrying around and you might not want that. But one of the ways you might do it is that we recommend you keep track of your expenses. Anyways, while you're kind of add things up and be aware of how much you have spent so far, it actually helps speed up the reconciliation process at the end as well. But I realize sometimes you can't get them all out at night. But it helps.
So keep a running tally.
Yeah, and we do have we have reconciliation forms for you, so you can go there with your spreadsheet already, and it's already titled and listed out and everything. So then you can just enter on this day that this much money in this for this expense, and then it'll add everything up and do all that for you. When you come back, you need to submit your receipts again within 7 days. And to do that, put your receipts, keep them, don't staple or paperclip them to an 8x11.5 grid sheet of paper. This is an example. And you'll want to cross-reference it with the reconciliation worksheet. So, like that example, it had some that were like M3, M4. That's cross-referenced with the sheet. If your receipt is not in English, you need to submit a translation. English and it's not clear what the purpose is. If it's not in English, but it's obviously a museum ticket, then you don't necessarily have to submit a purpose or a translation. Hopefully on your reconciliation worksheet, you will put museum entrance ticket and whatever the museum's name is. That's helpful. But the whole ticket doesn't have to be translated. If it's not obvious, then it doesn't need to be translated. That aren't.
What do most people do? Do they take a lump sum of cash, or do they draw from a debit card?
I think a lot of people go to ATMs. It depends again where you're going, but they go to ATMs every week or so to take out how much they did, and or it might not be an every week thing. It's just until that particular money runs out, then they'll go. But
And so we build in the ATM fees into our budget?
yes, hopefully you have. And if you haven't, if there's any, you can submit those for reimbursement. And if they're not originally budgeted and we do have some savings, then I can reimburse you for it. If we don't have any savings, then this is an example of a travel reconciliation worksheet. Obviously it's filled in, so you see, but this is individual expenses and the group expenses. and what day, and how it is. And it also has, like I said, the animal and free, so we can clearly cross-reference that expense to that receipt. That would be lovely if you could do that. And you don't have to fill out the exchange rate. You don't have to do the US amount. If you just do the form, purchasing amount and the purpose and the day and ideally the receipt number, we can fill out the rest of it. But hopefully you'll do that so that we can know what receipt is for.
So after we get down to something, I'm going to be provided with these documents and instructions.
Yes, the instructions will be on the envelope that you get when you sign your travel plan, free trip travel plan. They're also, I believe, available in your RM app, but the reconciliation worksheets, the Excel files themselves are in your RM app already, and then you can download them.
Your international coordinator also.
Yeah. And if you have questions, again, you can always contact your national coordinator or the business. Email will get you your answers. After you will get an email after your trip ends, like a day or so after, kind of reminding you that we need to get your receipts within 7 days, and generally where to find the reconciliation worksheet. In some cases, we attached it as an attachment based on, you know, that you have an individual travel claim, so this is the reconciliation worksheet that we need. I don't know if that was ever his thing, but if we send it to you and you would like us to, we can always send you that file.
My colleague and I won't be back within 7 days. Can we scan this receipt?
No, but what you can do, as part of that questionnaire, is there's a questionnaire saying, do you need a FedEx envelope? And actually asks, do you need a FedEx, UPS, or whatever, and it lets you pick which one. You pick yes, and then we will have one ready for you, and we will have it already filled out, and all you have to do is put your receipt in there, FedEx it to us. And you don't have to pay because it'll be charged to us.
So you will track the daily exchange rate, if there's going to be variations.
Right.
We'll do that after the fact, you're going to go back and do it.
Yeah, we'll do it through Owanda, and yeah, we'll do minutes per day. Okay, so on, yeah.
So I mean, it seems like it makes sense to take that for the line.
It makes the whole thing faster for you, and it also helps to keep track of see if you do have any extra, or it just helps you keep track of everything. I know that leading a program, you know, things might get crazy at crazy times, but if you can do it, it will speed up.
For some reason you don't have lost it
Yes, you can write an explanation, or all travelers will be offered. You don't necessarily have to if you don't really need it, but we will give everybody receipt books. So they're blank books that you can fill out the date, purpose, the amount, and cost it if someone sign it, or you can sign it, and then that can be your receipt. That kind of receipt is completely fine for travel. They understand not everybody gives receipts. There are 3 different kinds of reconciliation worksheets. There's an individual one for people who are only have individual expenses. There's a group one, and there's actually a group key card one. So use the correct one when you download it in your RM app. And again, if you have any questions with which one, ask us and we'll help you. And then when you email or when you turn in your receipts or mail them, however you can to us, if you can submit with the receipts a copy of your reconciliation worksheet, but it's also nice if you can email us the file so then we can use that as well. Okay, so 7 days is how long you have to get us the receipts, and I've said that a lot. It, because we only have a certain amount of time to get the whole thing processed, so when you give it to us, we then start processing it, and then and that can take a while, that can, depending on, especially if you have a group claim, if it's a complicated group claim, those can take a while, so we need as soon as possible, so we don't end up with any nasty grants or travel, saying your travel plan is, 20 days after your travel.
And if we have a week back, that we do here once we return, 7 days from return or 7 days from the program?
7 days from the end of the program. If for whatever reason, even with FedEx or UPS or whomever, that is not possible, contact us and we'll try to work with you. But, and obviously if you have an individual claim, those don't take as long to process. So if there's something, that might not be end of the road. If you have a crazy complicated group travel claim, we need them as soon as possible because that is going to take us longer. So we will try to find a solution. And claims are processed by the business team, and when they're done, you'll receive an email notifying you that it's finalized. And like I said, it'll say this is how much you were advanced, this is how much your claim totaled out at, this is how much either you owe ASU or you owe you. And then it's ready for signature and you can come in and sign. You can come in and sign anytime. We're open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. However, the sooner you come in and sign, the sooner it gets to travel, the sooner you get your money. And so, but if you can't do that, we understand. And again, we'll try to work with you if you're not at the campus. We can try to accommodate you and help something. And we have worst case scenario, we have sent them through text mail that takes a while, and I'm not guaranteed that it'll actually get to you, but we can do that. Then your finalized plan is sent to travel, and it's uploaded. A scan of it is uploaded to your Studio Abroad application, so you can always review it and see what your expenses, have a snapshot of everything. Okay. So,
Can I ask you a
yep.
question? So if we are with a program where we're prepaying the lodging, can that be paid in advance, or do we have to carry all that 25% of the lodging rate on our credit cards?
If something can get paid in advance, that's helpful. We would like to pay for it, so that it's not in your advance, so that no one has to carry the money, so that it's, and yeah, if it can get paid in advance, we would love to do that.
But if it can't get paid in advance, then we have to carry that 25%.
Yeah, you have to carry. Yeah, if you have to pay a portion of it, then you'll do it then.
So the travel office will allow for
Yeah. Yeah. Study abroad programs. A lot of dispensations, but other things. We have to. Yeah. There's
Just
a lot
try
of
and help
waivers.
clarify, you were saying 25%. If you call for the group claim, you're gonna get 100%.
For the group expenses. You get 100%.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but you'll just get 25% of like your per diem, or
Oh.
75% of your per diem, and then 25%.
The hotel's on the group side, so that would be
That's right, exactly. Yeah. Yes, but you'll be. Yeah, if it's a group expense, then I'm not gonna separate your room out from that and only do 75% of that. Everybody needs this expense. It's just expenses that are only pertaining to you. You'll get 75%. Your per diem, or if we budget that you for your personal local transportation, $100, you'll get $75. When you come back with receipts for $100, you'll get the other 25%. And we do this because if you don't come back with receipts for $100, you don't come back with receipts for $80. If we had given you the whole 100, you'd have to pay us back, and this way we get Yeah,
Do you need receipts for per diem?
no, that's the one, thank you. That's the one thing you do not need to give us receipts for. Anything, and the per diem includes, not only your meals, but it's M&I, so it's incidentals as well. So if you have to do laundry, if you have to do, little things like that, that falls under per diem and travel. And the office won't reimburse you.
So we don't need receipts for our meals, but what happens if we're paying for a group?
Group meals are separate from your per diem, obviously. And hopefully we've budgeted it so that you're not getting per diem for that group meal. And you do need to bring those receipts back because it's a group expense, and you need to give an itemized receipt showing exactly what was purchased, not proving that there's no alcohol in it and whatever. If so if you get, credit card signature one, that showing the amount, that's not enough. You have to have the itemized bill as the receipt. This is the process for the expenses that cannot get reimbursed in your travel claim. So either if you do have goodwill items that you purchased before your trip, or supplies that you purchased before your trip, or you're an individual travel claim traveler, and you did have to purchase some sort of supplies for the group. You get reimbursed through an employee reimbursement, which you may or may not be familiar with within your department, and it's just another way of paying you. I do need justification, and you'll get reimbursed through direct deposit, just like normal. It's just that it goes through accounts payable rather than travel office. And so there are some things that it might be completely obvious that this is for this program and you're on this trip, but accounts payable isn't seeing that. They're only seeing this receipt. So your justification kind of has to include on this study broad program, and this is a needed expense for this reason or whatever. Okay. So then here's the online forms and submission. This is what the actual forms at the staff salary travel one. Like, it has 9 questions, and you can find it in your my online forms and submissions section of your RM application, and you don't know how to find that. Your national coordinator, I believe that you have written out instructions where they can help you. Then also in your RM app, in the resources section, you have the different reconciliation worksheets. You also have section, I think it's still 3B, of the faculty director handbook. You have the whole faculty director handbook, but section 3B pertains to salary and travel. You can always refer to that for more information. And there are a bunch of other resources that you can use, including the payment to service providers form, the group manifest, which is for student disbursement. You can do that. And then there's this, if you don't know, within my ASU, you can do your paycheck, or if you're not already signed up for direct deposit, you can sign up for direct deposit there. And both of those, well, not direct deposit, but the paycheck you can view when you're on your program. So if you don't think that you got paid properly, you can always check that. Let me know if that does happen. Let me know right away, and we will rectify that situation. And anything like that. Do you have any questions?
So in terms of, there's some things we're not sure about,
Generally go to your coordinator first. They'll vote me in, but you can always contact us, contact me, contact the business email, and we'll probably loop in the coordinator just so that they're in the loop, but we'll try to. Yeah, it depends on, the next workshop, that's starting in 3 minutes, is on the P card program. It's a special P card. We issue normal P cards. You can't use for any kind of travel. But if the study abroad P cards have different uses, some programs have to have them. If the group travel claim, if the amount of their advance after you take out per diem and any group meals is over $5,000, it has to be a P card program. And so this year we're looking at somewhere possibly around 20 programs that may need P cards. Depending on the location, if that doesn't work, but anybody can opt in if you are not a P card person and you are a group travel claim traveler. You can opt in to the P card program, but just have to let us know that you want to do that. Yeah, we have. Yes. We know. I believe
you would have been told.
Yeah. So, any other questions? Thank you. That's. Yep. Yep.